we are live. It didn't even give us a countdown. We're
No
live.
countdown. Surprise,
Shalom,
surprise,
shalom,
surprise. We're
shalom.
back.
We're back.
We have
Oh,
fun behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen. We're
yes.
just
Oh
setting
my
up.
gosh.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to a live episode, the season debut of Race Matters, the safe place to have the hard conversation. Yes, we are
We're
welcoming back. We have
Yes.
been off the air since what, December of 2022? So
Yes.
it's been a few years. Life happened, so we had to take some time off, and we're back.
We're back.
Hey, Mariana. Hey, Rosie. How are you, ladies? Missed you.
Hey, I'm doing
Good.
fun. I have truly missed you all. And I
Me
don't know
too.
if everybody knows, but since we've been off, Mariana got married.
That's
Yes,
right.
that's
Big
right.
birthday.
Congratulations.
We're
Yeah.
so excited for her.
Yeah.
Marriage is a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
So, how are you, Mariana?
I'm doing good. Yes, it's been a busy few years, right? With
Mhm.
doing school and life updates and things like that. But yeah, I'm really excited to be back because
Good.
the conversations we had were like really
Mhm.
helpful. There were times
Yes.
when things will happen in the world, and I would think like, oh, I wish I could talk to
Girl,
Yes,
this.
yes,
share with
yes.
people.
Tell each other like messenger things.
Mhm.
It's different when we meet on
Just
the
as soon as you turn
line
on the news, it's something to talk about, right?
Whew.
all the time.
All the time.
And so much has
So,
happened. So
yeah, so we are back again. This is the debut of I think this is season 3, maybe 4 of Race Matters. Again, the safe place to have the hard conversation. We talk about race and how race matters and matters of race. And we have uncomfortable conversations, but we do them in
yes.
love because we all have opinions and that's okay. We have to learn to be able to hold two things at once. I need to be able to hold my opinion and your opinion at the same time without arguing and being upset with the other person and angry and just being disagreeable, right? We can do two things at once, hopefully. So we try to set the example here, and as challenging as it may be,
Yeah. Yes.
so we try to set the example here because we want people to this to be the place where people want to come to talk about it, because there's healing when
Absolutely.
we talk about things, especially those things that have come to harm us, to hurt us. There's healing in that, but you can't get healing if you keep it trapped inside. So therefore, you're trapped by your own events, by your own trauma, right? So when we talk about it, there's healing in that conversation. That's why therapy is so healing, because you get things out that you've been harboring and that's basically festering inside of you.
Mhm.
And I can say this is I'm a licensed clinician, so I'm trained, and this is my profession with what it does when we don't allow something to have its space and have its place, but it needs to be a safe place. That's the difference.
Mhm.
So even though this is the internet, the World Wide Web, social media,
Worldwide.
everywhere, we make it safe in our little bubble here, even though it goes out to the community, right? So
Exactly.
we can't control the other people out there, but we can control what happens here.
Absolutely.
So please join us. We're streaming on Facebook, live on Facebook and YouTube. Hopefully by the next time we're on. Right now we're going to be bi-weekly, every Monday at 8 o'clock, every other Monday, 8 p.m. Hopefully by the next time we're on live, we'll be on streaming on TikTok as well, simulcasting. So if you have any questions or comments during the show tonight, please put it in the chat and we will read them, try to answer any questions that you may have or in comments you may have. It's not just about what we have to say. We want to hear from
Exactly.
you. We're trying to create a dialogue. We want to engage. So that involves you guys engaging with us. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear your experiences as we share our experiences regarding race and different things that have come up. So our specific topic tonight is race and mental health.
Mhm.
Mental health is so important. Race is an important issue, and race issues affect our mental health. Whether we know it, whether we believe it or not, it does. So we're going to have a dialogue about that tonight. And but before we get into that, we're going to Everybody doesn't know us, even though, again, we were on the air for a while before. So we're going to introduce ourselves and share a little bit about ourselves. So I'll go first since I'm already talking. I'm Sharon Thomas. And like I said before, I'm a licensed clinician, a licensed professional counselor in private practice. And so all things mental health, trauma, relationships, human behavior, human relations, addiction, things of that nature, marriage counseling, family counseling, all things of that nature under the umbrella of what it is that I do, and as well as this platform. This is my media company, Full Life Communications, where all Holy Spirit led, as well as my profession, to put certain shows on this platform to give God a voice through us, with so He can heal. It's not us; it's God working through us to get His message out and to heal the people. So all glory goes to Him, not to us. And so we create these shows based on His leading, and provide this platform again for Holy Spirit to do what He does. And just use us as open and willing vessels for His work. And I am, because this is Race Matters, we will share with you our ethnic background. I am an African American, and of course, there's other things in my, other ethnicities in my background, but I am African American. This, let's just say that. But we're not getting into the, what is it? When you go look up your stuff on the DNA, we're not getting into all that, right? Because we know the history of African Americans in this country, right? So, but yeah, I am African American. I am Black, and again, like I said, a clinician, and I'm divorced. I have no children. And I love my profession. Love, love, love my profession. It is my calling, is what God purposed in me to do, is why He created me, is to be a counselor. And I know it because He told me. Not then. I learned it years ago. I was like, oh, no wonder I'm drawn to this profession. So that is what I do. I'm in practice in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, which is where I'm licensed. I have a coaching practice as well. And so coaching, everywhere, as well as consulting and professional development with organizations and businesses and whatnot. So to help staff, organizations, businesses better become teams, because we bring baggage to the workplace, and then that baggage gets intertwined with the workplace, and you all work, it's not a pretty picture all the time. So it helps people to understand what they're bringing to the table and to work better as teams, and on and on and on. So Rosie, I'm going to pass it to you.
Oh, okay. Hey guys. All right. Well, I'm Rosie. Unlike Sharon and Mariana, I don't have any degrees in psychology or anything else. When Race Matters first started, and Sharon asked me to join them, I said, all I can bring is my street knowledge. And she said, that's what we need. We don't only need psychologists and psychiatrists and stuff. We need people who have street knowledge and bring that part of it, because a lot of times our experiences in the street makes you just as knowledgeable as someone who has went to school and studied, because a lot of there are times I feel that book knowledge won't get you out of street stuff.
Hey, talk about it, Rosie.
You can be the most intelligent person in the world and put yourself in a situation if you're in the wrong street.
Right, Rosie. Pull out that book. Excuse me, sir.
No, let me tell you. Okay, and guys, by the way, I'm half Puerto Rican and I'm half Black. So, like Sharon said, we want to share our ethnicity. So I can bring you a perspective from, two different viewpoints. And I say that, and especially I say the part about the street knowledge, because I used to work for a utility company, and I'm just sharing this so you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say you have to bring street knowledge too. And they were doing a training on how to greet customers and how to greet people. And their training was, hi, my name is Rosie. I'm here for such and such, and I'm here to work on such and such. And as they were training it, and they said, okay, Rosie, it's your turn. I was like, well, really, I got a question. Who do you think I'm talking to all the time? I said, if I'm in Cherry Hill, I can do that. I said, if I'm in Camden, I got to come out, hey, how you doing? What's up? What's up with your phone line? I can't talk like that, because the first thing they'll do is look at you and say, what's wrong
and close the door in your face.
What's wrong with you? She thinks she's white. That's the mentality. And then you
Hmm.
have the other aspect where I walk up to the door and they were like, con permiso, ¿qué tú quieres? They don't know what's going on. And if I say, hi, I'm here to fix your phone. And hey, what's up? I'm here. You fix your phone. No comprende inglés. So now I got to shift again, which
Right.
is very important. So we have to understand that all of
Mhm.
this knowledge that comes from Sharon and Mariana has to be mixed with an aspect that is relatable to people that
Yeah.
we engage with. Because there are plenty of y'all that are going to come on here and hear what Sharon and Mariana say and say, well, I can't do that in my community, or I don't think like that, because our community is street. So anyway, so now I'm going to pass it on to my sister Mariana, who is married.
Thank you. Yeah, and we love you for all of that street, right? Like knowledge, Rosie, and all your stories, and of course, like that. So many experiences of working with like a lot of diverse people,
Yeah.
and a lot of that is very valuable. So
Thank
uh,
you.
glad that you're here with us for that reason.
Absolutely.
But yes, hey Mariana. I have to switch it too, right? When I can.
Yeah.
Uh, More often than not, I'll say Mariana and whatnot. But in Romanian, which is my native language, my name is Prunas Mariana. And I grew up in Eastern Europe in Moldova, which at some point belonged to Romania, but it has been an independent country for a lot of years now. And I actually happen to live right at the border with Romania. So from that experience, I have quite a bit of exposure to like the Romanian TVs, which like spoke a different dialect of Romanian, as well as like our own in Moldova. And in Moldova, because of Russian influence, we also had like a lot of exposure to Russian language. And so from a young age, even though I lived like in Eastern Europe, there was still a little bit of like exposure to like different cultures already, because there is a bit of difference between like the Romanian language, which is like coming from Latin, so it's a Romance language, and then the Slavic languages and the rest of Eastern Europe. So culturally, we're a bit or both in that way too. I came to US with my family when I was 15, and I've been here ever since. I met Sharon in our program for marriage and family therapy. So I'm also a mental health therapist, and a lot of my experience has started with families actually, and then I moved on to college students for a few years, and since then, in private practice, I've seen mostly couples and some individuals as well. Yeah, so that's my
Okay.
background.
Mariana, talk a little bit about so the audience can know where Moldova is, and because of the war that's
Mm.
going on with Russia and Ukraine, how Moldova is right next door, and what's that going on for your people?
Oh, yeah. So yes, Moldova is actually right in between Ukraine and Romania, and like I shared, I lived on the part that's closer to Romania. Maybe like 15 minute of a car ride, if that. However, because Moldova is so small, it doesn't take very long. It's probably about like 3 hour drive to the east side of Moldova, and that part is connected to Ukraine. I actually had some like relatives that lived on that side of Moldova as well. And like so they now live in the capital city, but then they have family who still lives in that village. And when the war happened, like they could hear a lot of things, sirens and things like that all the way in Moldova. Also, there's been a part of Moldova that has been taken by like Russia, even though they let go of like Moldova as a country and we gain independence, there's still a part of Moldova that belongs to Russia now. So there's like Russian army there. If Ukraine wouldn't have been able to fight back the way they have, um, Moldova would have been gone in probably a few days. Um, and this whole time, there's been a lot of threats to Moldova as well. Sometimes it's more like eminent than others. Right in the beginning, there was a lot of anxiety, and then there's seasons where Moldova sort of feels safe. but then occasionally there's always like some threats that keep coming back. So needless to say, it's been pretty nerve-wracking and scary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
can't even. I couldn't
imagine.
even imagine the fear, that you have. Even though we've lived in
Hmm.
fear in America for a long time,
Mhm.
worrying about family and stuff. But it's
Hmm.
different when there's a war like
Yeah.
that. With two countries trying to take control. So one trying to take control, one trying to keep their control. But that's got to be scary.
Right, yeah, and it was sad too because that part of Eastern Europe has been very interconnected, right? And I'm not as connected to that community anymore, but Northeast Philly has a large Eastern European community,
Hmm.
and this happens also for people in Ukraine and Russia, but like so is the case in US, where there's like a lot of marriages in between Ukrainians and Russians, or the people attended the same churches or the same
Mm,
and the same places, and they're like very mixed together and consider it's themselves as like brothers and sisters in that way.
hmm.
Hmm.
Right, right.
Close culturally they were, and you remove from there and come into like a country with a new culture.
Yeah.
uh there was like a lot of like conflict in between people and a lot of divorces and things like that happen
Wow,
in the
wow.
beginning
Good.
of the war. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I guess coming here when you were a teenager was a culture shock.
Yeah. I didn't speak
Same
English,
things.
so there's that too.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, you survived.
Yes, you did.
You thrived actually quite
Yes,
well.
quite well.
And we're happy that you moved here because now we're blessed to know you.
Hmm. Call
Yeah.
you our family.
Absolutely.
I love this
Absolutely.
group. I love this group so much.
hmm So even, with our topic tonight, race and mental health,
Mhm.
as we get further in the conversation, Mariana, you may have some things to share regarding your experiences, assimilating into this culture and what you may have experienced, coming from Eastern Europe, in the community that you lived in then versus say the communities that maybe you transitioned to where you are now, and the diverse populations if they were diverse, right? I know our schooling is diverse. Um uh and how all of that impacted you, and and especially from an outside lens meaning coming from somewhere else and seeing how America is, right? It's I've lived it all my life, so I'd be interested to hear how you coming from somewhere else, you know
Hmm.
then and now, like, look at Americans, right? And all of our issues, involving race and how we get along or don't get along. It's because I hear different things from other people, like Italy and France and different things like that, and there's always like this side eye, like, what's wrong with you guys, right? It's like, it's not wrong with me, it's not me, it's not me,
Right,
right?
right.
And so yeah, I mean, it's a real thing.
Right.
America's got a big personality,
Hmm.
on the world stage,
Hmm.
and and America affects a lot of people,
And don't
and
you
whether.
think? Don't you
Go ahead,
think?
go ahead,
Like,
Rosie.
I was just wondering because you said that, and it's like we might not look at it this way, but the world is traumatized at what is going on in America. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not affecting them in the way it's affecting us, but still, the our allies,
Right.
the changes and what's happening, it's got to be traumatic because you got people that were allies that loved America that are now saying don't even come
Mhm.
over here, and
Mhm.
that's got to be traumatic because if you have family that live here, it's
Mhm.
just whoo, it's
Yeah.
the world needs a psychiatrist.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
Ooh,
also,
Jesus.
to that point, right? Like we talked, and we're going to speak more tonight on exposure to the news and the impact of that, right? Like they're exposed to all of this.
Yes.
now as well, and I'm sure a lot of them are very much connected to what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Netta says
hard to
hi, ladies.
it's hard to see people from other countries saying, "What's going on there?" I mean, what's going on there? Why?
Mhm.
And then they question the American people like all of us caused this. They're like, you all put somebody like that, in all, and you all did this and you all did. No, all of us didn't do this. All of us
Right.
ain't a part of that. That's like
Mm-hmm.
saying just because my fourth cousin robbed banks means my whole family robbed banks. No, we don't.
Right,
So,
right.
so watching the traumatic experiences that Americans are having does not depict
Mhm.
that Americans think or act this way. We're just riding the wave of what's going on.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, Netta said hi. I put
Hi,
hi, ladies. I put her quote up
Oh,
there. Netta, that's my
hi,
mom.
Nana. Welcome back,
She's our
Mom.
faithful watcher.
Yes, that's awesome to have
big
her.
fan.
Uh-huh. Yep, yep, yep. All right, so let's get further into our conversation regarding race and mental health.
Mhm.
Um, I have some personal experiences regarding how, race and racial issues have affected me. We'll get into that. Um, I think it's a lot of times, especially for Black folks who, because of our history in America,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, this is how I say it. This is how I phrase it. And this is not something professional. This is how I phrase it. We wear race like our skin. It's so tight that we don't even notice how it has affected our mental health because it's born on us, right?
Mhm.
And so when we come out of the womb, and even in the womb, been in the doctor care, all of that, right? Affects people of color. And our skin color is seen, and then we are judged by it
Mhm.
thereafter. And so, whatever our experiences are, um, we develop a tough skin, a thicker skin, because
Mhm.
it's a lifestyle, it's a way of
It's
life
a
for us,
lifestyle. It's a
and
lifestyle.
so we get used to it. And so we don't really think about, oh, yeah, I had that experience, but I'm good. And for the most part, yes, you're still living, you're still going to work, you're still doing those things, but it has affected how you go about life. When I say you, I mean we, Black folks, how we go about life, how we might speak a certain way in the office, but speak a different way at home or a different way with our friends,
Right.
right? And so there's these subtle things that we do that we might not even be thinking of, but we wouldn't do that if our history and our experiences in America weren't what they are, right? And
Right.
so all that to say is it's because our mental health has been affected
Hmm.
and we've learned how to operate in these different scenarios because we have to, right? We have to
Yes.
learn how
Yes.
to assimilate into a white society,
Hmm.
right? White folks don't have to learn how to assimilate in a Black society.
Hmm.
We have to learn how to assimilate into a white society. And
Absolutely.
so therefore we constantly have to learn and how to navigate these different experiences from birth to death.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so it impacts our mental health in ways that I think that we are not even aware of. And like I said, how I say is because we wear it like skin. It's our skin is there. You don't think about your skin. It's my skin. It's there, and it's like I don't even think about it. When I have an experience, I'm thinking about that experience, but I'm not thinking about how it affects me because it happens so often in subtle ways, microaggressions, right? I mean, I don't even talk about the obvious ways.
Yes.
Mhm.
So, any
Right.
thoughts, ladies, on anything I just shared or just experience?
Well, I think
Mhm.
it's so relevant because when you, like you said, when I come into a room, I'm not seen as somebody who might, they don't see me as somebody that might add to them all the time or might have some
Mhm.
intelligence. They see my color first. They see my,
Mm-hmm.
my ethnicity first. And
Mm-hmm.
and the first thought sometimes might be is, oh, I wonder who she is. And and I guess sometimes we think, I'm in a room that they probably don't think I'm that intelligent, because that's how we're viewed as lesser, So we
Mhm.
have to we have lived with the acceptance of, we're seeing first before we're heard.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we
Mhm.
talk professionally, oh,
Mhm.
you sound intelligent. Well, you do too. I mean,
What does that mean, right? What does that
what does
mean?
that mean?
Right.
You talk well for a person of your ethnicity. Well, if I came in here speaking street slang, first thing you're
Then there
gonna
would
say
be
is I'm
something to be said
educated.
about that.
I'm uneducated, and let me tell you something. People with that talking all slang, they're more intelligent than you all who have
No,
education,
absolutely. I
because
agree.
that's the community they grew. That's just like telling a person who grew up in Puerto Rico that just because you're speaking Puerto Rican means, oh no, they must not be intelligent. No, they just speak a different lingo. And it's
Mhm.
just that we're here in America, in different communities in different parts of the different states. So there's
Mhm.
accents. That's why you hear somebody, oh, you from New York, I hear you
Mhm.
drawl. Well, that doesn't mean
Hmm.
they're unintelligent. That just means
Right.
they talk differently.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's the thing that we have to adjust with, to make sure that
Mhm.
people understand. We had to overdo it
Mhm.
just to be accepted as not equal, but just acceptable. We
Hmm.
had to go overboard so
Mhm.
that we're hopefully seen as somewhat close to being equal.
And we
Mhm.
still do. We
Still
still have
working
to
on
do more.
it. Hey, that's what's happening with a certain subject
Mhm.
I'm gonna talk about.
Right.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so yeah, layered and complex in that way. But ultimately, being able to code switch between, right, like two different dialects,
Woo.
it's pretty
You're
much,
Hmm.
bilingual, even if you're
yeah,
speaking English. You're bilingual.
exactly.
Right.
It's way
Exactly.
I'm speaking
Hmm.
New York. I'm speaking Ohio. I'm speaking,
Where I'm speaking
South
slang.
Carolina. I'm,
Mhm. Remember
speaking.
they had Ebonics, Rosie? Remember
Uh,
Ebonics?
yes, as if we had to learn a totally different way just to get it. No, we get it, but you just don't understand our language.
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
got it.
But
And
also,
if you think about it, creating a language, Ebonics, slang, or whatever, that takes knowledge,
And
right? That takes talent to create
I
another language,
hmm
right?
exactly.
hmm
And to the people that use it, it becomes endearing, right? It becomes your
Mm-hmm.
hmm
to be
Mm-hmm.
hmm
expected to then not use that.
But you know
And
what's funny? Oh, God, I'm sorry,
yeah,
Mariana.
no, that you're okay, yeah, because I'm sure you have something to say, so I want to hear it. But essentially, I wanted to highlight that, like, the when this becomes the language of your people, like a
Mm-hmm.
part is proud of that and wants to maintain it, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly.
Lucy.
No, but and again, I'm slipping into my subject, but the Ebonics is almost like what's happening with DEI.
Mm-hmm.
Ebonics was there, then but when Ebonics was brought out, certain ethnicities saw it as a lowering of the
Mhm.
intelligence, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, now they have to learn like this because they're unintelligent. No, we just learning on our level, and we're
Mm-hmm.
going to get the same results and even better results because now we can
Mhm.
speak. It's speaking our language. You wanted us to understand you, and we couldn't, so we had to learn it on our level, and it brought us up and above where you thought it would bring us. But then that died out, just like we have a certain other issue that's dying out, and it's canceling out people that don't fit the narratives.
Well, I think one part that what you said, like because we say black people didn't say understand or do as well with say like the
hmm
English, American English
hmm
language. I don't
hmm
really think, and so therefore say Ebonics was created. I don't really think that was so much the case. We got it.
we
We just
got it.
wanted our own. We just wanted our own language.
Exactly. We
And
were doing
where
it
we
our
shortened
way.
words and made them sound the way we like our slang to
hmm
sound or whatever. So
hmm
it was just a cultural language. That's all.
Let me
Mhm.
tell you, if we were able to rewrite the language the way we wanted to, right, right, and right would be one spelt one way. You know, night and night would be spelt one way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All of these words that are spelled, you got three spellings for the same word with different, uh, different meanings. We would be like, no. Tonight, night, and
Just
night
figure it
are
out in the
spelled the same.
context.
Yeah. If it's something that's in armor, that's a night. If it's I'm about to go to bed, that's night. So we would have probably been like, listen, y'all did too much. Y'all doing too much. What's wrong with you? Oh, you're doing too much. So we broke it, like you said. So we brought it to a level where we say, okay, now let's work with it because now we get it. But y'all were
Yeah.
doing too much.
But also, I'm curious to like verify this now, but I heard that it's also been used for survival reasons as well, essentially,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like an
Yeah.
underground language,
Mm-hmm.
right?
and
Yep.
and sometimes to speak in a way so they don't understand.
That's what
I
I
mean,
meant. That's what I meant
not
by
yeah,
underground
we
language.
don't
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we need just like when they would go wait in the water.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those slaves are singing
This is
that
our
beautiful
roots,
song. Now we sending a message. You know
right?
what I'm saying?
This
So
is it's our history.
hmm hmm
It's our history, and
exactly.
we continue to keep it going.
We will can't stop us.
Hmm. Yeah. So let's get into some of our, I guess, stories, if you will.
Mhm.
And I'll start briefly. I had an experience 2021, I'm pretty sure, when George Floyd was unalived. Obviously that was very true. I don't say obviously very traumatic for his family, but not just his family, other people, and specifically Black people, because of that experience of life taken for what it seems to be no reason at all. And it was videotaped and the whole 9+ minutes. It was just to watch that was traumatic. And at the time, I was doing the news on social media, plus doing, I think Race Matters and other shows. And so, when you're doing shows and putting them out on social media, you have to, thoroughly investigate, thoroughly watch, et cetera, and read. And so I was very immersed in the news. And so, of course, before him, Philando Castile, and everybody else before George Floyd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when his unaliver
Mm-hmm.
was on trial the following year, 2020, April-ish, spring of 2020. That's when I began to experience mental health issues. I was in school. I was taking a trauma class. Mariana and I attend the same school. That's how we met in a PhD programs, and for marriage and family therapy, just in case you're wondering. And I was experiencing anxiety, some depression, just feeling overwhelmed, couldn't like get myself together to do my schoolwork, had to talk to my professors about handing in my work late, thankfully, prayerfully, thankfully that they were very understanding. And again, it is a therapy program. So, about me handing in work late and whatnot. But it just overwhelmed me. I had a particular experience where I was going to pick up my mom's medicine at a local pharmacy, and I was parked. I had just parked, and then sirens, going down the street, and I
Ooh.
had an anxiety attack right there in the car. Like they weren't coming after me, right? But there was protests, in the streets because of things that had happened. And again, George Floyd's unaliver was on trial, and so I just had to stay in my car, get myself together. I think I stayed in the car for at least 30 to 45 minutes, getting myself together. And then was about to get out of the car. Then more sirens came, had another anxiety attack. Got myself together again, went inside the store, and the people were talking about, hey, the sirens, where are they going? And some lady said, oh, there's a protest or there's a march, but it was all peaceful. And the police were just going just to make sure everything, order was maintained. Was nothing happening as far as any disorder. But, for me, being a Black person and having experienced what I'm sharing as vicarious trauma, meaning a secondary trauma, it didn't happen to me what happened to, George Floyd, but because I am Black and have the Black experience, right? And watching that unaliving, I have took on a secondary trauma. That's what secondary trauma is.
Right. Okay.
And so it messed me up for a
Yeah.
while. And I
Yeah.
Yeah.
even took some time off from school because it just, I couldn't focus. I had to pull back from social media. I stopped doing the news. Um, because the news is where I really had to immerse myself, and race matters. Because I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
race
Yeah.
issues here, right? And so, I had to pull back and just take care of my own mental health because it
Right.
was just too much. Plus, being in school is just a lot. And
Yeah.
that's when I realized that I had to do more self care because I'm constantly talking to my clients about self care, but I really wasn't doing the self care that I was asking them to do. But
Mhm.
at that juncture, when that happened to me, I was like, Sharon, you got to start practicing what you preach
Yeah.
along with self care. So I stepped
Right.
back from some things and took care of my mental health. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you so much, and it can be so hard in those moments when we don't realize how the more overwhelmed we are emotionally. Of course, that's going to affect our
Yeah.
cognitive abilities. But in those moments,
Hmm.
put more pressure on yourself to like keep going. But
Yeah.
sometimes, like pull back in order to be able to continue on that way.
Hmm. Especially when you have responsibilities as adults, right? It's like you just keep going, you just keep going. That's what you're told to do. Just keep going, suck it
Mhm.
up, right? But that's not how it works. You'll find yourself in a hospital, right? Trying to
Right.
just keep going and not listening to your body,
You'll come
which
up
probably would have happened to
the
me if I
way.
didn't listen to my body, right? But I did. So, yeah.
Yeah. So for you, Sharon, as you did all of that, like what were some of the like initial like signs that you're starting to feel? I know you talked about the academic work. Was
Hmm.
that when you start to realize where were you on the anxiety attacks, or were there
Hmm.
some, was it like a progression over time?
I think there was a progression because even before, say, that actually happened, even before, say, George Floyd was murdered, again, I've been doing the news for a while, like since
Mhm.
2009. I started out doing it on the radio, just brought it
Yeah.
to social media in 2016, but it continued. And, and always reported on the issues of race, right?
Mhm.
The show Race Matters per se may not have existed, but I reported on it on the news. Patrick and I, who he was my co-host at the time, and so very immersed in the racial climate of America and all the different
Mhm.
unalivings of Black people by police officers and others. And so I think it was a culmination of everything, not just that one incident of
Mhm.
George Floyd's unaliving. That was just the straw for me,
Mhm.
right? Because, George Floyd was unalive, didn't so much happen then. It was when the trial happened from the person who unalived him. And I didn't even watch the trial because I realized I had said to myself, I'm not watching it. Mm-mm. It's too much,
Mhm.
too much. I knew that I didn't need to watch it, right? But you can't get away from it. As soon as you turn social media on or turn the news or whatever, you hear an update. You hear what was going on. And I would cry just hearing what happened, um, that day in court or whatever. And I would cry so deeply, so gutturally, like it
Mhm.
was coming from the depths of my soul. And I don't think it was so much about, and I'm feeling my emotions well up now. It wasn't so much about the man on trial. It was my experience, the Black experience, and all the unalivings that have happened, and that continue to happen because it's an ongoing thing. It didn't just stop, right? And it's just, the experience of a Black person in America is so racially overwhelming and taxes the mind and the emotions to a great extent. And that's why I think we as Black people don't really realize we just keep going. We don't
Right.
how much this affects us.
Mhm.
I step back and I'm a clinician, so I'm able to break things down, a little bit
Right.
more and recognize these things. That's why I knew I can't watch this. I know this is going to take me over the edge. Well, not even watching it took me over the edge, right? Not watching it. And
Mhm.
so that's when I realized that just hearing, updates or whatever, and this was every time I would hear it, not just once in a while that I would
Right.
hear it. I would
Right.
cry every time. And it was just so soul wrenching right? And then the anxiety attacks, then the not being able to focus on my schoolwork. And this is a PhD program. I mean, heavy work, right? And I realized like something is wrong. Something is
Mhm.
too many things are adding up where I'm not functioning at my normal level in different aspects of life, not just school, right? Just my personal being in life. Like I'm not functioning well. So
Right.
those were some of the signs that I knew that I had to step back. I had to take some time off and back away from social media and take care of my mental health and practice more self-care. And my spirituality is the bulk of my self-care. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. And so my prayer life and meeting with, my counselor and, just walking it out, but stepping back really from life, how I knew life to be. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like so much.
Hmm.
Overwhelming. And the challenge of like how the same strategy can at some point be helpful, right? Or even keeping up with the news, informing, yourself and your people can help you feel like empowered on one hand, then it can become like
Hmm.
another. And so like
Yeah.
being in tune with what you need at the given moment is so important. But most of us can't slow down enough to even notice what we need, right?
Hmm.
Until it's
And
over.
Yeah.
when you see it, when you're acclimated to it,
Mm,
that
right, right.
doesn't that doesn't make the anger and frustration and desire to get back
Mm,
less. It
Hmm.
just enhances it. And you get, how you hear people, how you hear black people look at a movie with slavery and say, man, if I was back then you wouldn't have done this. Yeah, no, you would have acted the same way they did, because that was the culture, that was the mindset you had to. And then today, even though we're not going through that, our mindset is still, if I was back then, I wouldn't put up with it. So it's happening today, and I'm not putting up with it. And that's the mentality. They're able to say, you know what? Just like I wouldn't have put up with it then, I'm not putting up with it now. But like Sharon said, we have to be so cognitive of our own mental degradation that happens in this type of stuff, because we start tearing ourselves down, we get angry, this, and then sometimes we lash out at the wrong people,
Yeah. Yeah.
but and that's when you just know, we black people never, back in the day, never sought out help. It just, it's, you were weak if you
It
sought out
was
help.
taboo. Yeah.
It was
Stigma.
taboo. You were weak. You're this. What's wrong with you? You don't need no psychiatrist. You're just wasting your money. I thank God we're in a time right now where we are saying, I need help.
Hmm.
I need to talk to somebody. Because even though I'm joking, even though I'm down with prison ministry, I don't want to go there really. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to go to prison to do prison ministry. I wouldn't mind just going to help out with prison. I don't want to end up being. But that's basically what I'm saying is, the stuff that's happening, it's taken on another level, and we're seeing it again. And what do you do?
right.
Yeah.
What do you do?
That's a good question because the climate we're living in right now.
Hmm.
And then this is just my thought. Obviously, we open up our doors, we turn on the news, we see what's
Hmm.
going on in the
Hmm.
community,
Hmm.
but we're hovering. And this is just my view. We're hovering in this a little like a limbo, right?
Mm,
But
Hmm.
it's the calm before the storm. It's not calm though,
Hmm.
right? But
mhm,
there's something greater about to happen, right? Like a powder keg exploding. And I'm specifically speaking of the United States, right? I sense it, I feel it in my spirit that, and because of that, when that happens, and along the way, people's mental health is going to start crashing.
Hmm. Hmm. When you said that, it's just a little funny thing, but it made me think of tidal waves.
mm,
Tidal waves, you don't know a tidal wave is coming, but
Hmm.
there's a shifting down in the depths of the
Yep.
waters,
Yep.
where the plates are shifting.
Hmm.
And I only know this because I'm nosy. I like watching stuff like that and different things. But there's a shifting that happens all the way down in the depths of the ocean.
Yeah.
But the end result is the tidal wave that happens on the top of the ocean
Yep.
and does the
Mhm.
most destruction. The little shifting under that water doesn't seem like it's doing much destruction. But then
Mhm.
when it reaches the top and those tidal waves start coming, and that's what when you said that, Sharon, that's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. There's a
Mhm.
shifting, that there's a shaking and shifting in the
Exactly.
crest of America, and there is a
Mhm.
tidal wave about to happen that is going to sweep so many
And
under,
people
so
aren't
many.
people aren't ready. People aren't
Mhm.
ready.
and and
Because
it
if
and,
they
and,
were
and it
ready, we would see different things happening in the community.
exactly. And
Right.
it takes the well-intended people as well as those who are intentionally doing things. So many are affected by the infection that's happening in
Hmm.
America, and the
Hmm.
shifting, and like when you were saying it, it just reminded me of that, of the
Yeah,
tidal waves.
perfect analogy. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's where my street knowledge come in, y'all.
There you go.
Yeah, I ain't got that and that, but
Love it,
I got
love it, love
this.
it. Oh, any other question for me, or if you guys want to answer about how race has affected you, and maybe how you may have had to pull back
What
from different things or social media or whatever?
what was the steps that you like? Did you reach out to somebody? Because I'm only asking because as a psychiatrist, I gotta be honest. How does a psychiatrist look to get help? You
Well,
know
so
what I'm saying? And from a psychiatrist, it's an honest answer, but it's like,
right.
because some people might say, well, you're a psychiatrist. You should be able to help yourself. No, that's just like saying, I'm a saint of the Most High God and things don't affect. No, it does affect me. Well, can't you pray for yourself? Yeah, but sometimes I don't want to pray for myself. I want to hit somebody. So I need to go to somebody else to say, pray for
Right,
me, so that if
right.
I do hit them, I don't do much damage.
Exactly. Well, it's just like saying a medical doctor when they get sick that they don't go to a doctor. Like,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course they do. Right. So let me just clarify what you said. I'm not a
Okay.
psychiatrist. A psychiatrist is an MD, a medical
Okay.
doctor who has a
Gotcha.
specialty in psychiatry.
Okay.
And so they're the ones who usually prescribe the medication. You have to
Gotcha.
be a medical doctor to prescribe the psych meds,
Mm-hmm.
right? Unless you're an advanced practical nurse, which is a higher degree
Mm,
in nursing, then they can prescribe medication. So at
gotcha.
my level and Mariana's level, we can't prescribe medication, right?
Okay.
I'm a licensed professional counselor. I have a master's degree working toward my doctorate degree. But even once I get my doctorate degree, I still can't prescribe. You have to be an MD,
To
right? A
prescribe.
medical doctor. So I'm a licensed professional counselor. Once I graduate with the marriage and family therapist degree, I'll be a marriage and family therapist. I already do marriage and family therapy, but I'll have that specific, doctorate degree. And then there's a psychologist, right? Which a lot of times you see in the schools, they do the psych testing, right? And the what do you call it when they're testing with the academic levels?
Mhm.
The word is escaping me, but you know what I'm saying. And stuff, testings like that. And they can, practice like Mariana and I do counseling and, in private practice and whatnot too. But
Mhm.
they specialize too in psychological testing. So that's just wanted to clarify the difference between a psychiatrist, psychologist, and therapist and counselor, like Mariana and I are. Um, now that I said that, your question.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. How you went about, because
Therapists should have therapists too. I have a
and
Right.
therapist too. Everybody needs a therapist. No man is an island. We can't do this thing by ourselves.
hmm
Right. And so I sought out, my counselor and had some sessions, to get myself regulated, if you will. And of course, like I said, my spirituality is my number one source um,
hmm
to help me in all things, right? And the counselor that I have is a believer, Holy Spirit filled, which is my particular bent at this point in time in my life. That I want someone who walks closely with the Lord, because I want that type of counsel
hmm
more so than book. Not that I can't have book, but I need what God wants. I want to hear what God wants me to know, right?
Yeah.
And so So that, along with the things that I already knew to do for self-care, I began implementing them. I wasn't implementing them before. I was teaching them to my clients, but I wasn't doing it because I was good, right? Even though we all need self-care at any time. But it was like, Sharon, you need to practice what you preach. So I started again implementing more things along the lines of self-care, such as, like I said, deep breathing became a regular part of my life. Like I do it all day, every day, loosely saying all day, just even now, but just because it's a good thing to do, right? And I just as something to just pass the time when I just want to either transition from one thing to the other or just do something mindless, as opposed to scrolling on social media. I have coloring books. And so I'll use my coloring books, not the adult ones, because those stress me out because they're too intricate. I like the little girl ones with the big pictures of the prince and the princess. I got them sitting right over here. I got a little self-care toolbox, right? And so and then I have a stress ball that I'll squeeze, right? In times moment where I have stress or might be feeling anxiety rising up. So I use this tight stress ball. So I started, this is when I got these things, right? And I got an eye mask because I would get headaches. And so I got an eye mask and I would just, rest my eyes for 10 to 15, a heated eye mask. Let me put that out there. And it feels so good. So good.
Does that help with that? Did that help with that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll send you the Amazon link. Okay?
I'm gonna have to get a couple family members that because they say they have headaches. They need to lay back with that mask.
Oh yeah. And just, just relax, do some deep breathing, or I can quote my scriptures, in my head, and just it's wonderful. And I even have, kind of sidebar, but well, not really. I have the eye mask that you actually put in the refrigerator freezer as well. So if you have puffy eyes or you have tired eyes, you use cold versus hot or whatever. So that's a gel one. We can put it in the freezer and then you put, to get rid of the puffiness, whatever. Yeah. So that's when I started investing in things like that. I bought a couple of different massagers, put over for the back. I carry a lot of tension in my shoulders and my neck, whatever. So I started investing in things like that, that helped me to my body relax and to my mind, for my mind to relax.
That's so awesome. Ultimately a combination of multiple things, right? It's not just,
so it's physical and mental. That you got to deal with the physical and the mental aspect.
Exactly. Because I got so many things that I was just like, Sharon, you spent a lot of money. But I was like, I got to get this up off of me.
That deals with, I keep going like this, but the you as a whole, like you're saying, you don't even have to only deal with the mental part. There's a physical part.
Absolutely.
You can feel that's why people get sick.
Yeah. I love when there's a physical response that goes into our mental health, right? That's why we feel, like I said, tenseness in our body, or maybe numbness somewhere, or tingling somewhere,
or you're
right, or a rapid heartbeat, or low heartbeat. All of that is speaking to what's going on with your mental health.
Absolutely.
You end up in an emergency room and they said you're stressing. That's
right. That's what when they're talking about you're stressing, they're talking about is the mental health.
Yeah.
Wow. Yep.
Interconnected, right? Like we, the thoughts we have are then, whether they're triggered by an emotion or they reinforce another emotion, but all of that is experienced in the body.
Yeah. And then of course I would do the normal things I always did, manicures, pedicures, which always helped to relax me, right? And then even at home, like a foot massager, just, again, to do the whole body thing, but some things that I can do in the house. Oh yeah, definitely was taking care of myself better.
Well, mine is swimming. So anytime I if it's a nice day, I put myself in the pool.
Swimming is the best. Water is my number one thing. I have fountains. I don't have so much right here. I can have a fountain in every room. I love the sound of the dripping water or the ocean or the pool or whatever. That's my favorite place to be in life. The beach.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. So in the summertime, what do you do when it starts to get cold? And
I guess I get in the shower.
Right, take baths every night.
To answer your question, the pool's gonna be closed, so I guess I'll turn the shower on.
Right. Oh,
go find me an indoor pool somewhere.
Yeah, next house, indoor and outdoor pool.
I will, right?
Oh, of course, me too. That's what we're
Yes,
putting it out. We're prophesying it,
yes,
Rosie.
it is a done deal. I'm gonna have a floor that opens.
Yep,
You jump in, and then when we're done, to push the button, and the floor is
that's
going to swim.
right. We don't have to wait till the summertime
No,
to swim.
okay.
Are you kidding me? Or to soak or whatever. Come on.
Mhm. That's old school.
That's right. That's right.
That's old school.
Oh, good question, Mariana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you guys like found yourselves like having to, I don't know, like push back from social media or anything because you just feel the stress, of the moment or because of whatever is going on? And you know how social media is. There's so much going on all the time.
Yeah,
You can find any issue to be overwhelmed with on social media.
I had to fast from it for a little while, because I felt so anxious. I guess that's how
Hmm.
I'll put it. Stuff. Well, it's funny when your family starts saying, You watch too much of that mess," because they see.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm always making a comment, and they're not watching it like me, and that's why it's good. I love being on your show because I watch it. I need to vent what I'm
Mhm.
watching, and they don't watch what I watch, so they were like, "Oh my
Right.
God, you need to stop watching that stuff. Why are you always talking about that stuff? Because it affects us. You just don't understand. It affects every one of us. You just thinking about going to work, and you just want to go to work, and you pay your bills, but you don't understand. This stuff is going to affect us in the long run." And just you get. I got so
They're looking
angry,
at you like you need to calm
girl.
down.
They were like, "Look, you need to stop." And I said, and at one point, like you said, I said, "You know what? Shut it down."
Yeah.
Facebook. I
Yeah.
haven't been on Facebook. I might go on Facebook right now. If I go on it once a week, I might go once or twice, 3 times a week, maybe. But I had to get away from it because I don't want to make. Let me put it this way, Sharon, because we're saved. God told me stop arguing about stupid stuff,
Hmm.
and I got tired of answering stupid stuff on Facebook. It's like, really? Some of the stuff y'all are saying is straight up stupid. So I said, you know what? Get off Facebook because you know what? It's frustrating you. Anything that frustrates you like that is something you need to just shed. And just go on there once in a while, check to see if it's somebody's birthday, send them a card, but don't go scrolling like you do and be on
Right.
Facebook.
Right.
I was on Facebook as soon as I got up, and I was on Facebook all the way until I went to bed just to see what people were saying. Make a comment here, make a comment there. I shut that down, but
Hmm.
I have to do the same thing. I really should do the same thing with YouTube, but I think I would do myself a disservice because for me, knowledge, I
Mhm.
need that knowledge of what's going on because I don't want to
Hmm.
walk in a situation.
Mhm.
And because I did not see stuff brewing,
Mhm.
that I walk in a situation that ends up hurting me, causing me my life or whatever, because that's how so many, people of color, like that gentleman, that was jogging, and the white people saw him jogging, the white men saw him jogging, and they killed
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So we have to be so in tune with what's going on in our
Hmm.
environment, in our society. We cannot
Yes.
walk blinded. You can't walk eyes wide shut. Your eyes are
Right.
wide, but they're shut because you're not taking in, and you're not. And that's where people lack. They're so busy into social media and what to do next and what to wear and what this and that, and they're not looking for those
Mhm.
warning signs that are coming over there that's saying, listen, you better watch going over here. You can't go to this state. That's a sundown state, and that sundown state in this current environment has heightened their sundown state, and we just blatantly think that we're in America, we're safe. We are unsafe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We haven't been
Yeah.
safe for a very long time.
We've never been safe.
Never.
Never. Yeah. So you just to clarify, because it was something that you just said, reminded me. When I backed away from social media, I didn't totally like not watch it at
Right,
all.
right.
What I would do is I would just read the headlines. I wouldn't read the
Hmm.
article. I
Hmm.
didn't watch any videos, like videos of people being unalive, like I did for the news and race matters to see so I could talk about it. I just read the headlines, moved on. And I
Hmm.
have a policy that I don't respond to anything on social. No, not anything. I don't respond. When those types of conversations that you're talking, I don't respond to that. Like if I'm just
Hmm.
saying hi to somebody or giving them a compliment or something like that's
Hmm.
different. birthday, but I don't engage in any of that
Stop.
other stuff.
Okay.
I don't, if I read it, agree, disagree, I don't engage. I don't engage. And
I
so
had
that keeps me from my ire, right? From rising up because I just don't engage.
mm-hmm.
So, even now, I read the headlines, may read very little of the article. If I read anything, I just know the headline. So I know what happened, but I don't know the specifics of what happened.
And just for the record, and because I know we're running short on time, just
Oh my, I didn't
be
even pay attention.
be okay with unfriending people. You're not turning away from people. You're not liking them. It's just certain ways that they present themselves that if it affects you the way it affected me, you just got to unfriend them. It's not that you don't love them. It's just that the stuff that you're saying is triggering me. So I know how I have to know how to handle my triggers. And one way to handle my triggers is to delete the situation that is triggering me. Because if I don't, then I can't get mad at them for triggering me because I keep allowing them to access me when I should not be letting them access me.
Yeah.
So.
Good point, Rosie.
Absolutely.
Well, I did lose track of time.
This was good. This is a first day back.
I know.
It's so refreshing to be back that we,
it is.
Even though we started early before the show started, it's just so much that we just.
There's always so much to say with this show.
Yeah.
So can we make the topic DEI next time?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll do a whole thing because there's so much to talk about with that. The
war on
we're going to talk about some of that today, ladies and gentlemen, but obviously it's 9:03 and we don't want to take up too much of your time, as well as we have a bedtime too. Self-care, right?
Self-care.
And Rosie, we already know we're past your bedtime.
8:30.
Rosie makes it clear. She giving us a bonus by being on this show at 8:00.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not for me doing something, I even if I'm not sleeping, I don't go to bed at 8:30 to go to sleep. I go to bed 8:30 to
wind down. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good practice.
Yeah. So
Mariana, anything you care to say before we close out?
Everything you both have described, I've done levels of all of that as well, and it's like an ongoing practice of trying to figure out. And sometimes it's more intentional than others. I wish I could say like intentional. Sometimes it's a bit reactive. You realize later, like that's a beautiful thing. Whenever I can, I try to pay attention, and because myself, I'm someone who needs to also verbally process through what's happening. I like to also be informed. I think it's so important at times to also bring the conversation up because sometimes people just, whether they don't want to or they're not ready, might not talk about it. But sometimes we have to. But at the same time, I also know that not everybody wants to talk about it at all times. And I noticed that for myself as well. There's moments when it becomes overwhelming too, and I have to pull back. And if you looked at how much I was posting on social media years ago compared to the last 2-3 years, it's decreased a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So we've all stepped back in our own way. You got to know yourself and what you can handle and what you can at any given time.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. That's a good thing. So, well, ladies, it's been so wonderful to have us back on the air again. I miss you guys so much.
I miss
Great conversation tonight too, by the way.
And it's refreshing. It's just refreshing to get back into this and to be able to share. It's refreshing. It's refreshing.
Right, because you can't have this type of conversation everywhere.
Exactly.
Like you said, your family, they're looking at you with you got 4 heads, right?
Early, I
gotta get with my tribe who understands where I can talk like this, right?
They about to call a psychiatrist for me. They're like, you need help. Why you keep talking to yourself?
We need people like that too sometimes, right? This is why we have multiple tribes. Some
that's right.
I think
Mine
My
does that
niece,
too.
Mhm.
my niece asked me one time, "Why you keep talking to yourself?" I said, "Because I'm the only one that tells me the answers I want to hear." Oh gosh.
That's a good one, Rosie.
Sorry, yeah, I was at a training recently where the trainer actually did highlight that what's really helpful about whenever we like talk or vent is not only that we get to express it, but it's the feedback we get in return that also matters.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
Yeah.
helps us to grow, helps us to heal, all of that.
mhm.
All right, ladies. So
Hey.
great show. We'll be back in two
Wonderful.
weeks, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to talk about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Mhm.
It goes by the name of different names, but that's the general one we're using for right now. And so there's a lot to talk about with DEI and what's happened since this new administration has been in, and what's happened with different businesses, organizations, companies who have gotten rid of DEI, who've kept DEI, and what it's meant for their employees. So we're going to get into all of that. So
And
we want
not
you
to
to share
mention
your.
some of the museums that are closing just because DEI, the offense of, black museums and stuff, it's more offensive than learning now. It's like, oh, that's a
Mhm.
DEI thing. So it's a
And the
lot.
funding being
And the
cut.
funding, yeah. Yeah.
So all of that to universities as well, right?
Yes.
So we're going to get into all of that. So,
Big
ladies, thank you
subject.
so much for joining me tonight, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, or whether you're watching live or in the replay. We appreciate you sharing and joining with us. If you have any comments or questions, you can put them in the chat live or on the replay. We do go back and answer those questions. But we will be back in two
Yes.
weeks,
2 weeks.
8 p.m. in 2 weeks. And on Race Matters, where we're going to talk about all things DEI. Netta says,
Yeah.
good show, ladies. Thank you,
Thank you,
Netta.
Mom. Thank you, Mom.
And join me tomorrow and Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. for Good Morning God, where we go to God in prayer every morning. Well, not every morning, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. As well as Wednesday, 8 p.m. for Faith Walk. Myself and my co host, Sandra Lee, talk about how to walk out the faith walk with Jesus Christ. And Thursdays, 8 p.m., office hours with Sharon. As a licensed clinician, it's an information empowerment session where you can ask me all kinds of questions regarding mental health, behavioral health, emotional well being, relationships, marriage, human behavior, all that type of stuff that falls under mental health. And I will answer your questions because you want to be empowered to learn about your own mental health and your own psychology. I won't be your therapist, but I will provide information for you, and you can find your own therapist to work out your specific issues that lead toward healing. But information is power if you use it as such. So that's what we do on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. So just click the notification bell on the Full Life Communication page that you're watching this show on. And once you click the notification bell, click all. So then you'll know whenever I go live. You don't have to wonder, when did you say that show was on? Just click the notification bell and click all, and then you'll know because you'll get notified. And like the video, share the video. Don't keep all this wonderful
Yeah.
information for yourself. Like
Yeah.
it, share it, and subscribe to the channel or the page, however you're watching. We appreciate you. It helps us get out to more viewers
Yeah.
because it helps the algorithm, and we want our information to get out because we want to grow the channel. We want to grow our Facebook presence so we can touch
Absolutely.
more people. All right. So thank you so much. Love you,
Thank you.
ladies.
Love you, ladies.
Yes,
Thank you,
and love you,
everybody.
viewers. We will see you in 2 weeks. Shalom.
Absolutely.
Mhm.